Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Hey, welcome everybody to another glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting on the last place shores of the Pacific Ocean. The Raiders are in last place. They're 1-4. They have lost every single game. They have played within 7 points. They've had the ball with a chance to win all these games, and they have lost all of them. And they have lost again tonight to the Chiefs. A whole lot of stuff going on. Had a 17-point lead, 3-possession lead in this game, and they gave it all back. They gave it all back to the Chiefs. Chiefs are always a dynamic offensive team, tough team to handle, but the Raiders had plenty of opportunities to win this game, and they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that sums it up. That they had a chance. A lot of things went wrong after they went up 17-0, and anything that could go wrong did, and they just couldn't overcome the mistakes they made. And then there were some questionable coaching decisions in the second half on both sides of the ball. And the referees decided to get involved after the Chris Jones roughing. That, yesterday I tweeted that the Tom Brady one was bad. This one might have been even worse because Derek Carr didn't technically have possession of the ball. Chris Jones did. But ever since that, it's almost like when the refs came out from halftime, they were like, we're just going to throw flags. And the Raiders got called for, I think, 7 penalties in the third quarter. And then that was it. That was history. We knew the Chiefs were going to go down and score and make it 20-17, but we had texted back and forth. The Raiders have to get to 34. That's the number we thought. They need 2 touchdowns in the second half. They didn't get there. We knew the Chiefs were going to score, but how they scored and the consistency with which they did, they went 4 for 4 in the red zone. And I've been defending Patrick Graham all year. You cannot play the Chiefs and just decide not to cover Travis Kelce in the red zone. He scored 4 touchdowns. You got to double him on every play. We see this happening to the Raiders. Teams doubling Adams, doubling Waller, doubling Renfro, and we're just letting Travis Kelce run around jolly free in the red zone. That just can't happen. That's bad coaching. Not kicking the extra point is bad coaching. I get it, but going up 31-30 does you no good in that situation because the field goal still beats you. There's 4 minutes left in the game. The Chiefs have a practice squad kicker who has already missed in the game, and tip of the cap to the guy, made a 59-yarder before halftime. Let's see him kick a 40 to 50 yarder with the game on the line in a tie game. It changed the play calling where the Chiefs were aggressive and were able to move the ball down the field because they knew the Raiders were going to crowd the line and take away the run, and they just threw those bubble screens and they got all the way down the field. And thankfully the Raiders got a stop. But not kicking the extra point made no sense to me because even if you make it 31-30, you're still a field goal still beats you, and there's 4 minutes left. The Chiefs were probably going to drive down and score at that point. So I don't know. And then I don't like the play calls coming back the other way. You had 3rd and 1 at midfield, run the ball. Josh Jacobs has been running the ball like crazy. There's still a minute left. They throw the ball up the sideline to Adams. He bobbled it, no catch. And then on 4th and 1, the all-out blitz is coming, and you're calling a pass route 20, 30 yards down the field, and Derek Carr is running backwards like he's playing Madden and just tees up a prayer that wasn't answered because the 2 receivers run into each other. Run a slant, run something into the flat. One-on-one. You had one-on-one with Devonte Adams. They were blitzing, and you're just throwing a prayer running backwards. That's not a good play call. Even if they hit it, that's not a good play call. So I'm questioning Josh McDaniels in the 4th quarter. I'm questioning Patrick Graham. I'm questioning a lot of things that happened in that game. And can we please stop shuffling the offensive line? There was no need to move Parham to left guard and Mars to right guard in this game. And you saw Parham got beat clean a couple of times in that game, and he got away with a hold on that last drive that the refs didn't call.
It's, also with this whole holding thing, I just don't like. Does this group of coaches and the Raiders do they send videos to the league about Max Crosby? I'm just saying, man. It's a lot of holding. It's a lot. He gets held a lot, and it's never called. And I'm not grabbing about the refs because I think the Raiders did enough to lose this game. But for him, I just don't want to waste the guy's career because he looks like congratulations to him. I guess his daughter's gonna be born soon today or tomorrow. Hopefully that goes well for Max Crosby. But this season has just been it's been horrible. It's been horrible in every way. And I hear you on Patrick Graham. He rushes three when you shouldn't rush three. Like my excuse me, I'm trying not to sneeze. My biggest thing with him is that he'll have somebody backed up, and then it's rush three or rush four. But then when he has someone, as soon as they get into the red zone or the pre-red zone, they end up trying to blitz. Then I mean, you should be blitzing them when they're backed up to try to get the ball back and get good field position. I applaud him for getting a stop in the first half. I mean, if you get the big break on that car play with Jones, but then Teamer gives it away, and those 3 points loom a little bit large in that game, right? At end of the half kind of reminds you of the points they give up at the end of the half in the Charger game, right? So it's just they're just a bad football team in every single aspect of it, and I think he's a really bad coach. Like I'm sorry. Like I can't even like even with Patrick Graham, if you're a head coach, like you bring him to your office and you tell him that, hey, listen, these are the situations where I want you to blitz, and we're not rushing three anymore. Like those are conversations that head coaches have. Like somebody I was listening to the podcast the other day and they're talking about some of these guys are play callers and not coaching the whole game. Well, I don't think this guy's coaching the whole game, because if you're coaching the whole game, there's no way. There's no excuse me, finally got out. There's no way that you can sit there and tell me that you're happy with what's going on with Patrick Graham and what's going on with his defense, because yeah, they play well at times, but you have to find a way to get more pressure on the quarterback because Max Crosby can't do it all by himself. And shout out to Chandler Jones. He did show up today. He did play well today. I had to laugh when I saw Kelsey slid out wide and Cleveland Farrell was across from him. I thought that was hilarious to me. That's the defensive plan we had to cover Travis Kelsey, and to end up being a penalty on that play as well because he hit him in the face. But it's just a lot of really bad things, and I just could not believe. I was like, just like the onside kick, I couldn't believe that people. First of all, people on Twitter who were saying that you go for the 2-point conversion. You just don't. You should not talk football anymore. That you're just an idiot. I don't care who it is. But
your season's on the line, and if you don't get it, you're in a bad spot. Luckily, they got the stop and got the ball back, but it didn't make any sense.
Not to mention, Ryan, the Chiefs went up 7. They try to go down. They try to go up 2 scores and go up 9. They did you a favor by going for 2 and making a 7-point game, and you give it right back.
Yeah, 2 things that I want to touch on. You have Max Crosby. Why are you rushing 3? Why are you allowing him to get double teamed?
Yeah.
You're allowing both of your edge guys to get double teamed because you don't have anyone in the middle that can rush the passer. You're not getting there.
And both are having great games.
And Farrell's out there hitting dudes in the face and getting penalties, but it wouldn't have mattered. They gave up a 36-yard ball down the field. I want to talk about Malcolm Kuntz on this field goal. If I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm going straight to the special teams coach because Malcolm Kuntz didn't do that on his own. They showed a replay from the side, and he does hook the arm around the guy and kind of turn him. I don't think it affected the play, but it was clearly something Malcolm Kuntz was told to do by someone on the special teams coaching staff. And when you get the Chiefs to kick a field goal, that's a win. Let them kick it. Don't even rush it. Just walk off the field, clap your hands, and say, we're getting the ball back down 4. And then they missed it. That's the cherry on top. But we're doing stupid shit. Sorry, my language. On the 4th and 14, and it gives them an automatic first down. That made no sense at all. Another coaching decision. Because I don't think Malcolm Kuntz is on the sidelines going, you know what, I'm going to get on the field on 4th down and try to block this kick, and I'm just going to grab this guy and hook him real quick so that Farley can get inside me. Like, he's not doing that. I guarantee you Malcolm Kuntz is not sitting on the sidelines coming up with that on his own. Like, I have no idea why they even did that. And it did look like a penalty from a side shot that I saw. The one from the end zone, it didn't look like he did anything, but he definitely got his arm around the arm and turned the offensive lineman, who also got his hands up and got him on Kuntz. But, like, that should never happen.
I mean, the only time, the only time that I ever think that you have a chance to block a kick is like 50 plus, right? Because the trajectory is going to be low. You have a chance to block the kick on a field goal that he was taking. It was like a 30 something, 40 something yard. I mean, that ball is going to be way out before you get there. So, like, it's almost a giveaway play. You hope the guy misses it, and he actually does miss it, but then you end up helping him out by doing whatever he did.
Yeah, I mean, the defense had their letdowns against Kelsey. They didn't get pressure much in the second half. The offense, I guess, did enough, but I don't understand the decision to go for one. And as you said at the opening of the show, the Raiders invested a lot of money on this offense. Say with it what you will, but they've had the opportunity in all four games with the ball at the end of the game to take the lead, and they have not done it. The defense gave up 30. I'm not letting them off the hook. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I get that. But if the offense has the chance to win the game at the end, because we know what would happen if the defense gives the game up at the end, that's all we hear about. But this offense has to win some of these games. Like, they can't rely every time on the defense.
If they were just batting 500, it would be good.
Yeah,
we'd be 3-2 going in the bye week. Everybody get healthy, come back. But you can't be 0 for 4 in that situation and be a good offense. You can't be.
no,
And
can't.
And this situation, you just needed. I mean, in two of the situations, they just needed a field goal, which makes it even worse because the Cardinal game, they just needed a field goal. This game, they just needed a field goal, and the game was over.
Yeah, I want to talk about Devonte Adams now. 3 catches for 124 yards. Where is the stuff to get him the ball quickly in space underneath 8 to 10 yards? Like, they hit the 2 home run balls down the field, which is great. We'll take those. But, like, where does he go for the rest of the game where we just can't get him the ball? And then on top of that, Adams needs to make that catch on the sideline. Like, you can't bobble it right there. He could have gotten 2 feet down. I don't know if the throw was too close to the sidelines or what, but Carr put it to where Devonte Adams, if you're the best receiver in the league, you catch that football. He's not going to get away here without a little criticism because that would have won the game. And then why are you not running the ball or, like we talked about, or getting something closer? Like, we're wasting Josh Jacobs. Dude ran for 154 yards, and it didn't matter.
No, it did not matter. Didn't matter. And they still threw the ball more than even this game. I was surprised to see Jacobs played so well. I was still surprised to see that they threw more. They had more attempts passing than they did rushing in this game.
I would like to see if they're going to mix in Zamir White. Can we just get him running downhill? Like, why are we trying all this stuff to get him outside? Just get him run downhill the same place you run for Jacobs. Get him 3 or 4 carries. Jacobs got hurt at the end of the game on one of those runs, so hopefully he's okay coming out of the bye. But this team just can't get out of the way right now, whether it's coaching, execution, special teams, defense at times, not covering Travis Kelce. Like, everything we talked about in the preview show, they got to stop Kelce. Didn't do it. They got to get a turnover. Didn't do it. They got to run the ball. They did do that. They got to throw 3 touchdowns. Didn't do that. Like, there was a lot of things we talked about to keep up with the Chiefs. And then at the end of the day, I still think they made the wrong decision to go for 2. And clearly it didn't matter. They still had the chance to win the game with the ball. And in the NFL, if you have a good quarterback and you have the ball with 2 minutes left, needing a field goal, 9 times out of 10, the team goes down and gets at least an attempt. And another week, it didn't happen.
Yeah, another week it didn't happen. In the red zone, if it's Valdez Scantlin, if it's Hartman, if it's Juju Smith-Schuster, if it's McKinnon, you can't give up 4. You can't give up 4.
Not to the same guy. Not to the only weapon on their team.
No, you can't. You really can't.
Like, was there a plan when they got in the red zone? Because I didn't see one from the TV copy. Like, I didn't see them ever really double team him. I saw Max Crosby trying to jam him in certain situations. Like,
why waste? That's a waste for Max Crosby.
Yeah. You need him rushing the passer. You want to do that, have someone else do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the entire game plan there on defense. Again, the linebackers got picked apart underneath at times. They targeted Diablo a lot in this game, in the passing game. They got a few off against Perryman. Nate Hobbs didn't play that well, and then he went out with an injury and was playing with a cast. Trayvon Merrick, where are you? Like, we've been calling out Chandler Jones. This is 3 games for Trayvon Merrick. Where is he? Like, I know he was used one-on-one with Kelce a lot in this game, but at some point you got to make a play. You got to make a play. Like,
make a play.
The
Gotta
Raiders
make
need
it fun.
to create turnovers, and they're just not doing it.
Yeah, they're not. And I thought they had a chance for one. I don't know why Harmon was so deep in the end zone on on that one of those touch Kelsey play. I thought it was as soon as he let it
Yeah.
go. I thought he was gonna make a play on the ball at least and go ahead and pick that ball off. But they didn't, but they didn't, and it's just. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's. I thought up 17-0. I thought the drive. I think it was a drive where they made it 20-7 or 27 or 20. I think it was 17-7. Can we tackle McKinnon on third and long?
2nd and 17.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's 2nd and 17, like a 5-yard gain, and then make it third and 12. Like you can't be trying to strip the ball and give up a first down on a run play there. So you got to understand the opponent.
That happened multiple times in the game where they were tackling the football and then the running back gets away and gets 10, 12 extra yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. I mean, I
mean,
know
it's at the point now where coming out of the bye, they have to win 5 or 6 in a row. That's the only chance they have at this point.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, that's really it. That's really it. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's they got a long time to spew. They got a long time to spew on it. I don't know. Like we can sit there and talk about all these different things. I know Waller went out on a hamstring, tough blow. I get it, but like, there's still enough there. And yes, Hollins is gonna be open. Matt Hollins is gonna be open. He's gonna be 1-on-1. But I don't understand why, in this game, why wouldn't you have, like, in some of those plays, have Renfro on the field? Because he's more of a catching threat. Like, I mean, if you give it, Hollins isn't gonna, what he did in Tennessee is just an aberration. That's not what he's gonna do on a day in, day out basis. I mean, you're doing a defense. I put it to you this way: you throw to Hollins, you're doing Spagnuolo doing him a solid. That's where he wants the ball to go.
Yeah, I want to see the all 22 because in the first quarter they singled up Devonte a lot. He wasn't double covered. I want to see if they changed some of their coverages where they were, even if they were rolling a guy over there. Let's start running him on some crossing routes. Let's get him running across the field. Let's get him running some out routes, some quick hitches. Just get the ball in his hands. And they ran a lot of vertical routes in this game, which to me, again, like if the offensive line pass protection is a question, like we're running 2 and 3 man routes with everyone running down the field.
Yeah.
That can't happen. Like you got to mix it up. You got to get the ball short. I kept texting you in the game, quick step, 8 to 10 yards, get the ball out of his hands. And there were times where Carr had time and he would try to scramble and just throw the ball away and not try to make a play. And there were other times where he had plenty of time in the pocket, just held onto the ball too long. And then there were other times where guys were right on him. So, like, I think the offensive line, I'd probably give him a C. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was very good. I thought it was serviceable in this game. I don't think it was good as last week, but that's how it's going to be the rest of the year. There's no lineman walking through the door. They're going to have to live with the guys they have in that room. So they're going to have to change up the offense. Like if they just want to take shots down the field, it's not going to work. They're not going to have time to do that consistently.
Yeah.
And where were the screens? We saw one to Josh Jacobs early go for about 15 yards, and I was texting you, like, you got to get some screens, get the running backs involved. Because once Waller went out, and then you weren't playing Renfro a lot, and you were just basically putting, Horsted in or Jacob Johnson or Thayer Munford, you were basically just had Renfro and Hollins. Or Adams and Hollins running vertical routes. You had nothing short. You had nothing over the middle of the field. That's when you need to get the running backs involved. So, like, I want to give Josh McDaniels every benefit of the doubt because I'm tired of going through head coaches, but this is 5 weeks now, and we just have had questions, and it's where's the offense we saw in New England? The running back catching all these balls, 5 guys out wide, guys wide open all the time. We're just not seeing a lot of that consistently. And it starts at the top. It starts with the head coach, and then at some point, the special teams is going to have to make a play. At some point, the defense is going to have to get a turnover and make a play. I know they scored last week, but they got to all do it in the same game. And now they're staring down the gun barrel of 1-4. I think the bigger issue is they're 1-2 in the division. And now the Chargers and Chiefs are going to be able to get a little bit of space within the division because they're going to have to finish second in the division to get to a wild card. I don't think a third team out of the AFC West is going to make the playoffs, just kind of how everything's lining up, because the AFC East is looking okay. The Jets have 3 wins. I don't know if they can sustain that. The Bills look good. The Jaguars look like they might win 7 or 8 games. Like you might get that third wild card at 9 wins, but the Raiders already have 4 losses. So they're going to have to go on quite a run. And now they have the offensive firepower to do it. I'm just questioning whether they can do it consistently.
And no opportunity to sweep anybody in the division besides the Broncos. None. They have no opportunity to sweep anybody in the division besides the Broncos because they lost to all division opponents, right? They lost to the Chargers, they lost to
the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs. And you just can't. I mean, you would like to have the opportunity to sweep at least one of those opponents, and you can't do that now. So,
and they have 3 losses in the AFC already. So that'll come to a tiebreaker. If they do get to second within the division, now you're looking around trying to get tiebreakers against the other AFC wildcard teams. But they're 3 games behind the Chiefs, and even if they're not going to catch them for the division, this Kansas City team is too good. They're not going to lose 7-8 games. They're going to go 12-5 or something like that. So the Raiders have to figure out how to. When they got to win they're 0-3 on the road, and they've been under 500 at home ever since they opened that stadium 3 years ago. So that hole got a lot deeper with this loss, and this all goes back to not being able to close out the Chargers game, not being able to close out the Titans game, not being able to close out the Cardinals games, because we want to talk like, oh, it's one game, it's only one game, but in the NFL you only play 17. They all matter. They all matter. And at the end of the year, the game you gave up in September counts as much as the game you lose in December. So I'd say the season's not over, but it's on life support. And without a 5-6 game win streak at some point over the next 7 weeks, the season is over.
And I don't want to hear in New England they start off slow, all this stuff like that. No,
they didn't have the Chiefs in their division when they were doing that. They had a bad Bills team, a bad Jets team, and a bad Dolphins team.
And you look at them on the AFC. I mean, there's only the Texans are 1-3, so they're ahead of the Raiders actually. And the Steelers are 1-4. So, I mean, that's, I don't know. I just
the Raiders have the number 1 pick in the draft right now. That's basically where we're at. Now they haven't played like that. They've lost 4 very close games, but I
also think that, like, for me, like, with that being said, like, the NFL, most games you have like a couple blowouts on Sundays, but for the most part, every game is played within 7 points of each other. So, like, if you figure if you can win half of those, like, you'd be good to go, and they haven't. I mean, all those 4 losses, if they could just split that, it would have been fine. But they just cannot. They got the ball. When Devonte, you always feel like when you're playing in a house of horrors. And Kansas City, ever since Schottenheimer has been the head coach of the Raiders till now, with Andy Reid, the Raiders' record has been. I think the Raiders actually had a winning record against the Chiefs before Schottenheimer, and then after that, it just went downhill. Ever since then, and then they get Andy Reid. But it's just, I mean, you felt like maybe Devontae makes that catch, you're good. Maybe maybe you can force overtime. But I mean, as bad as defense, like I said, as bad as the defense was in the second half, and I understand they're playing. I mean, you give up 30 points to the Chiefs, I could deal with it. It's just the way it is. Like, you're playing against Kelsey. Like, come on, cousin. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing in the red zone? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing in the red? What's the, like, you have the red zone, to me, is more like basketball than anything else. Like, that's like, okay, I'm double teaming LeBron to force somebody else to shoot. I'm double teaming Kobe so Derek Fisher has to take the game winning shot. You can't allow he's roaming free. He's roaming free with no hit at the line of scrimmage, no nothing, and they're wasting. I mean, nothing, and they're really wasting a lot of great efforts today. I thought Bolden had some key plays in this game. I thought he had his catch. I think he had a catch where he fell forward to make it 4th and 1, where it was a decision, and that ended up being the bomb to Devonte. I thought Josh Jacobs was fantastic, and again, like, this whole identity of this team. What is the identity of this team? Like, dude, like, you ran the ball 21 carries for 154 yards. dude, like on 3rd and 1, like how was that not in? I don't know. How was that not in the frame of your mind to say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna hand this off to Josh Jacobs, and then I'm gonna come spike it. Like he's not gonna get a huge. I mean, like if he gets a huge play, then maybe you're up against it. But even then, you come to the line, you spike it, you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, all facts. Like it's 3rd and 1. You have 2 opportunities to run the football. Like
And you're running it,
Josh
but
Jacobs
like
was running like a man possessed, and that you knew they were coming on 4th down. And I just watched the replay. Carr got blasted on that play. Like it was literally he's running backward, just heave it up. Like you got to have a better design than that on 4th and 1. And I don't know how the guys run into each other. It seems fitting that that's how this game ended after everything that happened. You got 2 Raiders running into each other and a Hail Mary no look pass
on 4th and 1,
basically
on 4th and 1, on
is
4th and 1,
power.
on 4th and 1, with how
Um,
much time? How much time left?
it was like 47 seconds, something like that, like plenty of time.
Jesus. Go
I'm
ahead.
just looking at the targets right now. Adams 7. I would have told you coming into the game he'd only have 7 targets.
There should be 7 in the
That's
first
not good.
half for him.
Jacobs 5, Bolden 3, Jesper Horsted 3, Matt Collins 4. 4 targets, no catches for Hollins. Renfro 4 catches for 25 yards.
Why were you
Darren
up?
Waller didn't play after the 6th play of this game, and like they couldn't really get anyone involved. Like Adams went for 3 for 124, but I wouldn't say he was involved. Like it
No.
was 2 long balls down the field, essentially. It's basically what it was.
Like I just question what I mean. Like I question the whole thing. I question just training camp from now to now. I question everything. Like this whole offensive line thing. Like you didn't like you couldn't figure that out. Like in the off season that this wasn't maybe you could have got a veteran here. You know why that? Like this team just like they weren't they looked really not even ready to go for parts of that game against the Chargers. They got going against the Chargers, and all of a sudden the offense can't. The offense is flat. The offense is flat again when a game is on the line. Like your offensive play caller. Like you get paid the big bucks for a big call in those moments, and then you come up short every single time. I guess ESPN has the Raiders next. They have Raiders next 5 weeks, and that's the was it Texans, Saints, Jaguars, and Colts. I think as far as that goes, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. I mean,
They're
people get
winnable,
yeah,
but
they're
not the
winnable.
way they're playing. Like
No, I
they
mean,
haven't played a complete game yet. This
no,
has
I
been the
mean,
story of the Raiders for years.
yeah, and then I mean, listen, you want to blame Devonte for that catch at the end of the game. Like he should have caught that ball. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit there
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna sit there and say that he shouldn't have. I mean, it's probably frustrating to him that he didn't just get 2 feet. I think part of that was I think he was almost worried about the guy coming underneath his feet.
Yeah.
But he could have like kind of double tapped even more so. But he just I think for him he is a Hall of Fame great all time player, and this is embarrassing to him. Like, I mean, this is really he came here for a reason, and he came here to be. I mean, he left the opportunity. I mean, the one thing that's lacking in Green Bay right now is him. Like,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Like in a wide open NFC, the reason why the Niners and some of these other teams have a great opportunity to go to the Super Bowl is because he left Green Bay to go to the Raiders. So they can't finish games because they can't find people open at the end of the games, and Devontae's with the Raiders. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is I'm not gonna sit there and say because with every win you can get more, you get back into it a little bit more and more. But these games aren't going to be easy. I mean, even even Texans out of the gate. I think all these games are not going to be easy. The way, especially with the way the Raiders play. I mean, it's just not going to be easy for them to win any of these games.
No, those 4 games are winnable, but they're not layups. I mean, the Texans have played some. I know the record's 1-3-1, but
They've
they've
been
been
in there.
competitive in these games.
Yeah.
Um, at the Saints is not going to be easy. It's a 10 o'clock start. The Saints have a good defense. The Raiders' offensive line right now is probably bottom 10 in the league. Let's be honest. But we all knew that coming in, and they're going to need Darren Waller to get healthy. I know he got paid. I know he was injured or held out or whatever you want to call it in training camp. The guy hasn't shown up this year, and if he's hurt, he's hurt. I understand that. Like, you can't play injured, but
Mhm.
I mean, it should have been a pretty bad hamstring pull there to just basically put some street clothes on and stand on the sideline. But like I said, if he's 100% legit hurt, he's hurt. There's nothing you can do. Not having Foster Moreau in this game hurt, but it's tough. Like, this was a tough game to lose, and we all knew this would be a very tough game going into it. We both actually predicted Kansas City to win this game, which they did. But it's just how they're losing these games, just finding new ways to lose. This is stuff that the bad Raiders teams the last 20 years have done. The expectations on this team were not to go, 6-11 or something like that. The expectations were to win 11 or 12 games and go to the playoffs. And right now, this team does not look like they're going to the playoffs. And they gave up a lot of picks to put this team on the field, a lot of money. Mark Davis wrote a lot of checks in the offseason. And he's not getting rewarded for that right now. And he's partially to blame. We sat up here and we talked about Doug Peterson and we talked about Brian Dable, and they went the unconventional route and
let me
McDaniels out of the hat.
Let me look at the standings. How is Brian Dable doing right now? Let me see.
I think they're 4-1, and he's
They're
doing it with a bunch of
4-1.
practice.
Oh wow.
With practice squad guys.
Practice squad guys, yeah. So I'm just saying. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know.
On a side note, if Josh McDaniels put in the speed option that we saw in the third down in the first half with Derek Carr, just fire that play out of the playbook. Like, what the hell are we? What is that?
Derek Carr. Ran the option with Derek Carr. I saw that.
Like, really? He's not Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Get rid of that play call.
I think on that play, the defense knows he's going to pitch it.
He's not holding on to that.
He's not holding on to that, but he can't hold on the ball when it's a regular sack. So he's definitely not coming when somebody's breathing down his neck. So we know all that. I know the Carr fans are gonna love that one. Oh boy.
Carr didn't lose this game, but again, it's another game where I don't think he did enough to win it when he needed to. That's the difference. Like, he didn't lose the game. This game was not on Derek Carr, but he didn't win the game either. Like, he had the ball in his hands and had an opportunity to just get his team in a field goal range. He didn't do it.
In that third quarter, to have nothing on the board is tough. Like, you and like, it's not even, if people don't understand, like, it's not even not scoring. It's just running backwards and throwing the ball and getting intentional grounding. Like, you gotta give me a NFL team drive here where, okay, you get a couple of first downs and then have to punt. Like, that calms the game down dramatically. Like, the game becomes a fever pitch when you just, like, start throwing the ball away. You start doing all this nervous, like, my first year in football type stuff. He's a better player than that. I'm not sure why you can't just, like, get that out of the system. It's always one section of the game where you see a little bit of that from Derek.
Yeah, and he was under pressure at times, but again, there were other times where he had plenty of time and just held on to the ball. Yeah. He ran with the ball a couple of times, but not like last week. And
he had one where
I just think there's just something with his offenses isn't clicking, and it's been 5 weeks. And I know they scored 32 last week with the help of a defensive touchdown, but they only got to the red zone one time today. But thankfully, they hit those deep shots down the field. But they've run the football like madmen for 2 weeks in a row. We didn't see any play action. We didn't see
what's that?
Like, where is that? Like, you got the running game going. Like, where's the play action? Like, they tried it once, Parham whiffed, and Carr got sacked for an 11-yard loss. But, like, basically when Waller went out, the tight end got removed from the game, and then because they went heavy so much, the slot receiver was removed from the game, and you basically had Hollins and Waller, or Hollins and Adams standing out there, and it's pretty easy to cover two guys when you have seven.
I feel like it's tough to. I mean, it's tough on you. Wasted the effort by Josh Jacobs, who's gonna. I think honestly, Josh Jacobs is gonna make himself some money this offseason, regardless of where he goes. And my nightmare scenario is him going to Kansas City. I've been thinking about that in my head for a year, for like forever now. He's like the perfect complement to what they want to their offense, that tough running back, which is like the Marcus Allen effect in my head. I think I wasted that. Jacobs also had 5 catches for 39 yards. That is, and I just think also for Max Crosby, we kind of wasted a bit. I mean, just 3 TFLs, 2 sacks. I thought Chandler Jones was active today. was all around the ball today. And especially in the first half, he played well. Uh, but it is what it is. It's tough. It's really tough, man. It's tough.
I think you're starting to see too where this new regime is starting to put their guys on the field that they drafted, and they developed, or they signed. Like, you can't tell me right now that Neil Farrell Jr. making his first start is a better player than Jonathan Hankins. He's not. Like, if Jonathan Hankins is literally a healthy scratch, if John Simpson is not playing or is literally a healthy scratch, this new regime is telling you what they think of this team for this season already, which is not a good message to send in that locker room right now.
So you think you think they're saying that the season's done?
I'm not telling you that it's over. I'm telling you they don't see long-term deep playoff runs, so they're going to start to get their guys some playing time. This is what every new regime does.
Yeah. You should have told
And you're
Mark
probably going
Davis.
to see a lot of it. You're going to see more of it over the next couple of weeks if they lose another game or two.
You should have told Mark Davis that before you you should have told Devonte that before he left Green Bay. I mean, Jesus Lord, if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, he has done. And I agree. I totally agree with you on that. He has definitely done nothing in training camp, preseason, to deserve a single snap over Jonathan Hankins. And why'd you tell Jonathan Hankins to come over here? Jonathan Hankins said, I mean, he wanted to come over here because of his familiarity with Patrick Graham, all that stuff like that. Why would you ever like? I don't know. I don't get that. But no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree.
Can we get Keelan Cole nowhere near the punt returns anymore too? Can we just talk about that? Like,
is there a reason why he inside the 5 he caught that?
I mean, he looks like a 39-year-old Tim Brown back there once he gets the ball in his hands, like just kind of just standing there, not really going anywhere. Like,
I mean, what are you doing?
Where's Abdullah? Like, put someone back there that might actually get a return and help the offense out. Like,
oh my God, I don't know.
I'm just hoping at this point he catches the ball and doesn't fumble it. Like that's my confidence level in Keelan Cole's punt return.
And what's up with our boy? All I heard was Abdullah. I've heard all about one. I mean, like, I don't know.
He had a great screen catch in the Cardinals game, and then I don't think I've seen him since. Like,
yeah, I know, it's crazy. But you do have to think about giving. I mean, Josh is gonna get a break here physically. I mean, he earned that, that ice down tonight in the tub, because God knows he ran the ball hard today, and it was just his ability in short area has been great. I've always been somewhat, like people say, I'm a critic of him. I just hate where he was drafted. I do like Josh Jacobs as the player. I don't like first round running backs. I do feel like, that hamstring's not torn. I mean, they just show Waller again in street clothes so fast. I'm like, it's hard for me to like criticize because you're not like, you don't know the pain or what's going on. But like, it seemed like he was in that pretty quickly. In street clothes pretty quickly. And what do we pay re-up him for? What do we re-up Renfro for if we're not gonna use him? I mean, it just seems crazy.
I don't know. Did they one juke route in the middle of the field today? Like, I don't remember anything over the middle of the field.
I didn't see Haas juke today. You see Haas juke today?
No, and I think too, like, we're not questioning the effort. I thought the Raiders players played really hard, and they played to the end of this game, and they gave it everything they could. But there's just something missing with this team that they had last year and they've had in the past, and it's execution in key moments. And you've seen the frustration from certain players who have put a lot of time and effort into the season: Devonte Adams, Max Crosby, Derek Carr, and it's just not happening. Which it leads me to believe it could be coaching related, and clearly they don't have enough talent at certain positions on this team. The same positions that we all talked about forever. I do want to say, I thought Sam Webb stepped in and played okay. Like, you didn't see him giving up any big plays other than the one play where he got a horse collar tackle going in for the touchdown. But I thought he played okay in coverage. But the Raiders need playmakers. Like, they just don't make the plays at the times they need to make them.
Yeah. I can't even. They're showing.
It shocks me to say that. Like, coming into the season, I was thinking top 10 offense. They're going to go up and down the field. It's just way too consistent, and the defense just is not getting enough turnovers. Like they'll show you some really cool stuff. Like I thought last week Graham was really good on third down, and then they'll have periods where you're like, what are they doing out there?
Yeah.
But the offense gets paid too.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
This
All
team
right.
could very easily be 4-1, but they're not. You are what your record says you are,
Yeah,
as Bill Parcells would say.
yeah, it's Bill Parcells. He said he's true.
Yeah.
All right. And no more words, I don't think. Unless you guys anything else you want to end on before we go.
No, I can't wait to see the comments section next week. But
all 22 stuff coming up.
this isn't a homer show. We're just going to tell you how it is and tell you what we see.
Yeah.
And if they come back and win against Houston, we'll be right back on here talking about the things they did right and the things they need to improve on.
Yeah. Yeah. Carr definitely got killed on that play, but I just don't. It's it
leveled.
It got leveled. What's funny about it? I'm still trying to. I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm just saying to myself, like, he wants to pass the ball. Like even in this, when you're like when I watch and this channel is USC and it's and Raiders, but one thing I noticed about Lincoln Riley is that like when they need something, they lean on the running back. They lean on the running game a lot. Like Travis Dye had, like 160 against Washington State. Like when he wants to get something done, he wants to pass the ball, and it's like, but they're not there yet for that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like like that's part of coaching. Like why wouldn't you just like ride what is working? Like who cares how? That's where a thing where like you're trying to win your way rather than winning, period. Like just win. Like nobody cares. Like it's just win, baby, not win because of the passing game. Like I just can't believe they didn't run the ball twice. I thought for sure when you got that 3rd and 1 that you're gonna run the ball twice there and and spike, but they didn't do any of that. And it was just whenever they get in critical moments like that, I think he forces the hand passing the football, and it's just like it's not there, dude. It's just not there. And the play call was horrible.
Yeah, deep shots downfield haven't really worked a lot, other than the 2 to Adams in this game. But yeah, you just need a yard. You would think something quick, and that was a long developing play. And Carr didn't have a chance to step in and let that develop. He was literally running for his life because they went cover 0 and then brought everyone.
That's smart.
So
blitz works sometimes.
Yeah, this coaching staff is going to have to self-evaluate everything they've done through 5 weeks and try to figure this out. And I don't want to hear Josh McDaniels say we need to learn how to win. And I texted you during the game, like, if you're going to be aggressive and go for 2, why were you kicking field goals on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2 in the first half?
Yes, I did see.
If when you're going to be aggressive, be aggressive.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So when they were up, and that's where I think Carlson could be a gift and a curse, because they know he's almost money in the bag. I thought when they were up 14-0, they had a 4th and 1 before they kicked the field goal, right?
Yeah, 4th and 1 and 4th and 2.
I mean, go for that. Like, I mean, go for that. 21-0 is like, you should be going for that. Like, and even if you don't, if you make the 4th down, but you end up kicking a field goal, you run some more clock, more time off the clock. But to me, I'm definitely doing that. Like, I thought that's the one 4th down that I thought he should have went through. He should definitely have gone for in that situation. But I don't know. I can't wait to hear this press conference. It should be funny.
Yeah, I think that's all I got on this one. I'm gonna need the bye week to recover from the first 5 weeks of this season.
Yeah, so some stuff. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. All right, you have a go Mariners. You have a great time, man. Take care.
All right, take care.
Yeah.